Alright, let's get right to it. I know you're here for the real story, not the sugar-coated version you might find in a magazine or a quick interview clip. So, let's pull back the curtain and talk honestly. You read the title and you know the show. Maybe you even binged it, or you're one of those fans who still quotes lines in group chats. I'm talking Veronica Mars, Kristen, the cult classic that turned a little high school detective into a TV legend. It was the kind of show that made you feel like you were in on a secret, part of something special. But in 2007, I made the decision to walk away. And honestly, it was way more complicated than anyone outside that set ever knew. It wasn't just a simple choice or a dramatic exit. It was a slow build, a collection of moments that finally tipped the scale. So why did I quit? Let's rewind. Let's go back to the beginning, before the rumors, before the stress, when everything felt new and full of possibility. Being on Veronica Mars was a dream, don't get me wrong. The cast, the crew, Kristen herself, all amazing. We were a group of underdogs, and that made every little victory feel huge. We were a little family making big waves in a small show. We worked hard, sometimes 16-hour days, fueled by late-night pizza and even later-night script rewrites. There were inside jokes, pranks, and those moments when you'd look around and realize you were part of something people genuinely loved. I loved every second until I didn't. It's weird how quickly things can change, how the thing you once ran toward suddenly feels like something you need to escape. Here's the truth. By the end of season 3, the whole vibe started to shift. The energy on set was different. People were tense, and you could feel the uncertainty in the air. The network kept changing our time slot, and it felt like every week we were fighting to keep our audience. It was like running a race where the finish line kept moving, and no one would tell you why. There were rumors about cancellation swirling for months, and let me tell you, it's hard to bring your best when you're constantly waiting for the axe to fall. Every day felt like it could be our last, and that kind of pressure wears on you. The pressure got real. People started snapping at each other, and even the smallest things felt huge. It was like walking on eggshells, never knowing what news would come next. But for me, the biggest issue wasn't just job insecurity, it was losing myself in the chaos. I started to feel like I was disappearing behind the character, like my own voice was getting quieter every day. I was young and I'd thrown everything into my role. My world became all about Neptune High, but my real life? Friends, family, even my health took a back seat. I missed birthdays, skipped holidays, and sometimes forgot to check in with myself. There were days I'd wake up and have no idea who I was outside the character I played. It's a strange feeling, realizing you're more comfortable in someone else's skin than your own. Kristen was honestly a rock through all of this. Always professional, always kind. She had this way of making everyone feel seen, even on the hardest days. I learned a lot from her, not just about acting, but about how to treat people. But sometimes you have to put yourself first. No matter how much you love your job, or the people you work with, you can't pour from an empty cup. By the time the last episode wrapped, I knew I couldn't keep going at that pace. I needed space to remember who I was, not just who I was paid to be. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but also the most necessary. Was it scary? Absolutely. I had no idea what would come next, and the fear of the unknown is real. But sometimes, you have to take that leap, even if you can't see where you'll land. Was it the right choice? For me, yeah. I got to rediscover my passions, reconnect with people I'd lost touch with, and start building a life that felt like mine again. I watched Kristen keep shining. I cheered her on like the proudest ex-castmate out there. Seeing her success made me realize that leaving didn't mean I was giving up. It just meant I was choosing a different path. And walking away gave me the freedom to try new things, travel, and find out what I wanted next. I learned to say yes to adventures, to hobbies I'd never tried, and to friendships that had nothing to do with Hollywood. So that's the real reason I left Veronica Mars in 2007. Not drama, not a big falling out, just a quiet decision to put myself first, even when it was hard. Just a girl choosing her own path, even when it was terrifying. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from something good to find something better for yourself. If you're ever in a spot where you have to pick between the job and yourself, trust me, choose you. Your future self will thank you, even if it takes a while to see it. If you liked this behind-the-scenes truth bomb, hit subscribe for more TV confessions, and let me know in the comments, what show would you have trouble leaving? I love hearing your stories, so don't be shy. Thanks for sticking around, Marshmallows. See you in the next one.